Now we're cooking with gas.
Rolling with the microphone. Let's turn everybody up. Let's grab the, the Modelo. It's Saturday, and we're live. Well, I guess we're never really live, are we?
Well,
we are alive.
We are live.
But we're never like podcasting live.
Right. People aren't listening to us live.
We should probably be live.
Well, we can do a Facebook Live.
You know that we can't do a YouTube live stream thing.
Why?
We don't have enough followers.
Oh.
Yes, you do.
That's interesting.
You have to have a certain amount of either uploaded videos or followers.
We have a lot of uploaded videos, but apparently not enough.
Nope. So.
Interesting.
We need to be live at 6:21. That just rolls off the tongue beautifully, doesn't it? Live at 6:21 p.m. That's terrible. I'm half blind from looking at final exams.
I couldn't today. I had other things that were pressing, like, the mountain of laundry.
Yeah, decorating is important, right?
Decorating.
Oh, that's so terrible.
Spending
I had a
time
mountain
with
of things to do. Decorating being one of them.
You should see the sofa. It is piled. Like, I bet you have two baskets.
Yeah, well,
full
I
of
don't have
laundry.
much upstairs.
I know, because it's all on the sofa,
it
folded up, ready to roll.
It was all downstairs.
I did that today, and Two and I decorated the basement. Mm-hmm. You and I will get to do the
impotent stuff.
Yeah, it's important.
What did you say?
You and I can do the
You and I
up here.
You have lost your brain cell. Yeah, that's not a thing that's gonna happen.
I need the tall.
No, Aaron's the tall. He's taller than me.
Aaron is taller than you now.
So guess what? That's who you get. Keegan gets the low ground. He gets the high ground. It's all covered. Don't look at me to be doing no Christmas.
You used to help me back in the day.
That was back in the day, like 50,000 years ago.
I forgot to tell you. I've had at least 3 teachers come to me this week and tell me that when you and the children have to leave the country, that I'm to call them because I shouldn't be alone.
Call them and do what?
Go out to eat, go see a movie, go hang out at their house.
Why?
I don't know, because I'm not supposed to be alone.
Why?
I just looked at the one teacher. I was like, I'm not even going to get dressed. I'm going to read like 3 or 5 books in that time.
I know, but what's the big deal?
I have no idea. Like, they're all making a big deal out of the fact that I'm going to be home alone.
What's the big deal?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They don't know what being alone is like?
Apparently not.
Because
I was like, I'm not going to be alone. I got 3 cats. I got books.
Okay, that isn't really the consolation prize that anybody wants to hear, that you're going to be a cat lady for a couple days. I'm
already a cat lady. I'm a human lady too.
That's really just not it.
Your boss was like, oh, when your family is gone, we'll have to go get margaritas and flautas. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for margaritas and flautas any day. I don't have to wait for them to leave.
Right. Why do I have to leave in order? You could have been gone on Friday.
No.
See, that's what I said.
I did not feel well on Friday. Go. I said on Thursday I wasn't feeling well, and you told me it was because I ate turkey.
That's right. You ate that turkey. But nasty, nasty turkey. What the hell?
It was so yummy. It was so good.
It's funny. I'm showing in my class Food Choices, that documentary, and the other teacher that teaches in English, she was showing What the Health. And I walked into her classroom to ask a question, and the same guy is on both.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're watching the same thing I am. And then she was like, no, this is something else. I was like, huh? Because he's saying the same thing that he just said in my video over here. Yeah.
Same dude.
Meat bad.
It's funny because
bad meat.
We have all these Christmas dinners coming up. We have one on Friday. Then we have another 2 after that. And
that
I've been
I don't
asked.
want to go to.
Huh?
That I don't want to go to because I hate going to dinners.
I know you do. But I was asked several times, like, I want you to be very specific what Erin cannot eat. And I'm like, okay, do you want me to write it down? She's like, no, I'm going to write it down again because they asked. I said, you have to tell them it's for a vegan and none of these things. And she's like, they asked me if it was vegan or vegetarian and I didn't know. And I said, it's vegan. It makes a difference, a huge difference.
Yep.
And she's like, what's the difference? I said, eggs, butter, milk, and cheese, and honey. And she's like, oh. I said, he can't.
And, pig bones.
Yeah, Jell-O. Ugh. The kids, somebody gave me, on Thursday, they brought me some Jell-O thing, and I didn't know what it was. It was just this packet of stuff. And I see the kids eating them all the time. So at the end of the day, I was cleaning up my desk and packing up my stuff, and I asked one of the students, I'm like, what is this? And they said, it's Jell-O. And I said, oh, I can't eat this. Would you like it? Why can't you eat it? And I said, because I don't eat pork. So I can't eat it because it has pork in it. And she's like, what? I said, do you eat pork, right? Yes. So just eat it. It's okay. If you already eat pork, it's not going to hurt you. I just can't do it. They wanted to know why and how the pork got in the Jell-O. And
No, the Jell-O is the pork.
that's what I told them. It's like, no, love.
I would think there would be some kind of non-gelatin.
There is.
A non-pork gelatin at this point.
Well, there is. In Thailand, you couldn't find pork gelatin. It had to be, like, the only place you could find it were, like, the stores where the expats shopped, and they would be in the imported aisle. But they had that algae-based gelatin in Thailand because of all the Muslims.
Yeah, because it seemed like there's all these products really don't have to be animal based.
No, and like the one mom who brought,
But there's no way to know.
Right. The one mom who brought the sweet potato casserole, she said that her daughter had made such a big deal about the marshmallows she put on the top because she knew I couldn't eat beef or pork. And on the back of a bag, she was reading it, and it says beef. And so she made her mom get the ones with no beef. They were the vegan ones. And she said, do you know how hard that is to find vegan stuff? I said, yes, I feed a vegan every day.
Exactly.
I'm like, it's not really, unless you want things that aren't vegetables.
Right.
If you want the cheese.
Being all the way plant-based, that's what you really want to not eat the other stuff. I mean, I really don't want all the other stuff. I just want to eat a plant-based diet. I don't want, like tonight, I had tacos. I have a soy-based
chorizo.
Yeah. And then lettuce and
Onions and
yeah, exactly. I mean,
soy cheese.
That's what I want. I don't want, a packaged thing that happens to not like Oreos. Oreos are not a good thing for me.
Oreos are not a good thing for anyone.
But see, people don't realize while yes, they are vegan,
that means there's nothing
also
real in
means
there.
that there's no milk, no nothing. They're not a cookie. They're not anything.
No, they're just fake.
I don't know, chemical, plastic.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but it's not going to be good. So that's why when people say, do you want this? Like, no, I don't, because that's probably not a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a good thing to eat for anybody to eat.
Right.
But I want to move more towards, being all plant-based, less like almost no, what is it called? Overprocessed, packaged foods. I don't want any of that stuff. We left the States. We were trying not to eat that stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
If it was packaged in a box or whatever, like we used to say, what I used to say. If it has a commercial, you don't eat it.
Right.
Because carrots don't have a commercial.
No, they don't.
But eggs do.
They
Milk
do.
does.
Yep.
Cheese does.
Eggland's best.
You know, but broccoli don't.
Right.
You know, so I'm trying to stay away from the what is actual junk food. All this prepackaged, boxed up stuff that nobody knows what's inside of it, and it's, you know, too much sugar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, because, you know, that sugar film, it teaches you a lot about sugar.
Oh, that sugar film was very... ugh. But, you know...
I swear I should show that to my students.
You should show it to your students. When I was first looking, like, on Facebook to find recipes and ideas and all this stuff once you switched over, I joined a British vegan group. And I was always floored by how many would go to the Tesco, which is the big supermarket there. And they would come back with all of these vegan items, and everything was prepackaged.
Yep.
But they wouldn't have one head of lettuce or one fresh tomato or one carrot.
But you can't be vegan with no veggies.
But they had just an entire table full of packaged things.
Because they're convenient. And that's the problem. Convenience is why we are where we are.
I asked one day, I'm like, I don't understand. I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm just trying to understand because I'm not a vegan. I just feed a vegan. Why are you buying all these packaged items and you're vegan? And I thought that was like, you know, help the environment, protect the animals, blah, blah, blah. And they said it has nothing to do with healthy. It has nothing to do, for most of them, had nothing to do with being healthier. Had nothing to do with protecting the environment. It was all about protecting the animals. And I'm like, what the fuck? How are you protecting the animals if you're filling the space up with garbage?
That's a different problem. A lot of people don't think about that. That's why when I showed for the students, their thing was all about food choices. But one of the choices you have to make is the packaging that comes wrapped around your food. And where does that packaging go? And that is a choice. That is something that you choose. Because a lot of them ask, like, what do we do? Like, how do we get our food? And I looked at them and was like, carrots are not grown in plastic.
Nope.
So you can buy carrots without buying them in plastic.
Yep.
So why are you choosing that set of carrots instead of the carrots that are sitting out? Yep. Maybe with the green top still on them. Why don't you choose them? Why are you not choosing them? And they usually don't have an answer. Now, keep in mind that most of my kids this year, because we're talking about this, they're in 6th grade. So they're not really making these choices. Right. They're just kind of getting confronted by this information pretty early on. Well, but by the time they get to high school or university, they should be thinking about this stuff.
A point of view. One of the things I find fascinating now that we're back on this side of the world is how pretty and shiny everything is when you go to the supermarket.
Bad news.
And you always think, like, how long has this been sitting here?
Bad news.
Because in China...
A potato's supposed to be dirty.
In China, you would get a bag of potatoes, and when you took them out of the bag, you'd have about a half a cup of dirt.
Potatoes supposed to be dirty.
And your carrots were the same, right? The carrots are the same way. And you know that if the carrots are bright and shiny, those are the ones that are going to cost you more because they took the time to scrub the dirt off of them.
Yes, but they also scrubbed off that outer layer of the thing, and it's going to go bad faster, too.
Like, you'll just put your finger or thumb right through it within 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
No matter if it's been refrigerated or not.
Whereas the one that had the dirt on it
might last out 2-3 weeks.
There with that dirt, you never put it in a refrigerator. You just leave it on the counter, and it's just fine.
Yep.
I mean, you know that there is something to be said for being, you know, doing the food naturally. Like it's a root vegetable. It should be dirty.
Yeah.
It should have soil on it. It's not hurting it. A lot of people, I bet you a lot of people feel like that dirt is making the fruit dirty. It's or the vegetable
funny.
Dirty. It's like, no, that's not what it's doing.
One of my friends posted a picture the other day, like Wednesday, when everybody was preparing their Thanksgiving meal. And she posted a picture of a sink full of collard greens in soapy water. And I was like, what the actual hell is that shit? You don't wash your food with soap, with dish soap.
Maybe and you wash them chitlins.
Ugh, you don't eat those things. Gross. The poop was in there.
Poke chitlins.
So,
chitterlings.
As we're going through the thread, all these comments, there's a lady who was like, this is exactly how I do it to get all the dirt off and the bugs off. And I'm like, where the hell are you getting your greens that they're dirty and they have bugs? Because they're all pre-washed before you go to the supermarket.
Yeah, but they're pre-washed if you buy them in a supermarket.
She
in a market.
She bought them in the supermarket. And I'm like, then why do your greens have bugs? I grew greens in our backyard for 9 years, never once used a pesticide.
Nope.
Never had to use any sort of detergent of any sort on a food because you don't eat detergent, so you don't put it on your food.
It's not tasty.
You wash them in plain water. That's it. That's all you need.
Yep. Just rinse them off. You might want to use a little power sprayer next to your faucet.
Of course, I always get that white women don't know shit. That makes me so mad because I grew them. How do I now know how to clean them and cook them?
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with race. I think the problem is
no. I get told white women don't know.
If you're getting your greens, excuse me, and at some point in your life there were bugs on them, which that could be.
Yeah, those little white cabbage bugs.
Well, if you have those, what is somebody going to tell you to do to get rid of them? And that's where the problem comes in, because then it becomes, if it's dirty, then you use soap.
No, you should never use soap on food.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's the problem.
I had a boyfriend once, and I went over to his dad's house, and his sister-in-law was going to cook dinner for everyone, and I watched her squirt Dawn on the meat and start scrubbing it.
What?
And I looked
if you've got to scrub meat, then why would you eat it?
I looked at her. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Well, you have to wash the meat before you eat it." And I said, "That's not what they mean." Yes, you have to. I do this every day. And I said, "You're going to kill yourself because you're not supposed to eat dish soap."
Well, that's nasty.
You don't need to wash meat like that.
Well, if you do need to wash the meat, then you're getting a low-grade, old-ass piece of meat that you shouldn't eat anyway.
Right. And she's like, "This is how my mom does it." And I was like, okay, good thing I don't eat beef because I'm not eating shit you cook.
Oh, that's just nasty.
I was like,
I've never heard of that. I mean, if you looked at the meat
Dawn on a steak,
it don't look right or don't smell right,
then throw it away.
You don't eat it. Yep. You don't wash it. You can't wash it away. It's inside. It's muscle.
Ugh.
Oh, God. This whole food thing. The food thing is amazing to me. It's absolutely amazing, the choices that people make about food.
Well, we had the Thanksgiving dinner or Thanksgiving luncheon thing at school on Thursday.
It was?
My classroom had it. The moms
special in Karen party.
Well, it was second A and second B. So both of the groups had it. But it was initiated by the moms. And I'm always floored at the amount of crap they send when these kids will eat a 5-gallon container of cucumbers and jicama, and they will eat it raw, and they will kill that shit like it's candy.
With that lime.
But then they're gonna send
lime on the cucumber.
They kill it. And the what is it? Tahini, the spicy stuff.
You mean the Michelito?
Is that what they call it in your classroom?
No. One of them is called Michelito.
Oh yeah. Well, the kids always bring the little bottles of tahini. But it kills me. Like, these kids are not afraid of eating vegetables.
Oh.
They are all about the vegetable. They will tell you the kind they like and how the best way to eat it. But then I get, 28 donuts and 2 giant chocolate cakes and a a bag full of Oreos and chocolate milk and this really cheap, nasty juice stuff. And I'm just looking like, I am so glad they are leaving my space when they're finished with this. Because damn, this is a lot of sugar.
Yep. That sugar film.
They're just filling up their kids with sugar.
Every time, man. Watch out.
When I watched the sugar film, you're so wrong for this shit too. You're so damn wrong. The children were in the States, and I'm watching this, and I had just FaceTimed with the kids, and two had a 64-ounce Gatorade sitting on the table next to him during the time I'm watching, during the FaceTime, because Grandma wouldn't let them have something that they had asked for, but she would let them have this. I said, okay. So I go and I'm watching the sugar film, and I get to that part where he's telling how much sugar is in sports drinks. Yep. And I pause, and I'm like, you can never have another one of those again.
I guess you could have it.
Just to drink, though, and you're not exercising? Or
You're doing the sport.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
Then you can have it, sure. Because you're burning, you should have burned off whatever you're about to put back in. You're replenishing. You're not adding to. So that would make that. I don't see that as the big problem, because what you're drinking it for that express purpose.
Yeah, but that was not the case. It was just
water.
They weren't allowed to have something else that they had asked for, so she got them this, and
water is better.
I was just like, no, not that much sugar. You ruined me, making me watch that shit. That's why I won't watch the other thing.
What the hell?
I'm not watching it. I'm going to live in La La Land for the rest of my life.
Black Friday, last chance. Canon, Nikon. Ooh.
No. Look away.
I think I need to go there.
Go ahead. Go look.
No. I don't need to look no more. I know exactly what I want. 70 to 200. That's what I want. 70 to 200.
Du tien. How much?
More than I have at the moment.
Oh, that always gives me palpitations.
I need that 70 to 200. I need that 8.
I remember
18 to 35.
I remember sending you shopping for your camera with Elaine.
And I got the little one.
And
I should have got the better one.
I sent you a 10,000 and said to Elaine, please don't let him spend more than 8.
I see. I should have got the next one up. I'd be in a better position right now. I'd have a nicer camera.
You have a nice camera, Aaron.
No, not anymore. My camera is not. My camera is outside of shooting raw. My camera is a little bit lower than my phone.
Well, shit.
See? That's why I don't have a problem shooting slow-mo video on my phone, because I can't do 4K slow-mo video on the camera. I can't shoot 4K at all.
Yeah, iPhones are great for that stuff.
Well, they're not great. They're just okay. But they're good enough. They can do it, Whereas my camera, nope. It don't even have 4K as an option.
You still have a nice camera.
No, sorry, it's okay, but it's like the bottom basement camera for a like if you line up all the Canon cameras, mine's not even on the list anymore.
Well, you did buy it
how about that?
You did buy it 6.5 years ago?
See, time for a new body.
Ugh.
I say that every time I look in the mirror. Time for a new body.
Your body is just fine.
No. Don't be lying to the people now.
I appreciate your body.
Fat ass people. I have a student that says, I like hugging you. And I looked at her, why? You're squishy. You know what? You just called me fat.
You're not squishy.
She called me fat. She's calling me fat, man. I'm
my
a fat
kids,
man. My students were even telling me I'm a fat man.
I said
and trying to make it sound nice.
I said the other day, because the children are putting their desks together and there's not enough space to walk through. I don't care how little you are. You can't walk through because they're blocking the entire classroom.
Yep.
And so I said to him, listen, I have a really big butt and I can't get through here. So you're going to have to move so that I don't fall on you and squish you with my giant behind. And they started laughing. I said, do you think I'm joking? Because look, I can't get through here. And they're like, no, Mrs. Farr, we're moving right now. I'm like, that's what I thought. Because this is a danger zone, children.
It's a danger zone, that's true. Because that ass cannon wakes up, boy. Ooh, Lordy. You blow them right out their chairs.
Squish them like
boom.
Yep.
Well, what else you got for the people on a Saturday evening? I don't have much. I played a little games today. Aaron roped me into some Rocket League I haven't played in a while. It's funny, my kids, I had to take my computer to school so that I could get work done, because it's very difficult to get work done on their computer because it's the keyboard thing.
Yep. And
because I'm running movies off of that computer.
Yep. That's the problem I have all day.
I take my laptop and sit down. I can work very quickly on my laptop if I have it in front of me.
Right.
And in China, my laptop was my work computer. So, yeah, every day. So anyway,
except for when you need it.
I'm sitting there working, and the kids are looking, and they're like, what do they say? They say something backwards. You have a laptop gaming.
Yeah, they do that.
It's like,
that
guys,
weird backup.
You know, adjectives go before. Come on, let's. You should know that by now. Especially since it says it on the label on the other side. But yeah, it's freaking Yoda. So you have a trash can. Come on.
I'm not spitting rum chata into my trash can.
It'll wash out.
No.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm working, and they're all ooh and eyeing over my laptop. It's like, guys, this laptop is old now. It's like my Aaron's laptop is better than mine.
Yep.
This thing is old.
Yep.
It's like, and they're like, oh, it's so cool. It's like, no, actually, it's not. You know,
it's just a computer.
And right now, it's just a desktop replacement. It's essentially, and then they asked me, do you play games? And I looked at them, I was like, guys, I told you this like the first day. My Steam library has close to what? 150, 200 games in there. It's like, you know.
Most of them you haven't downloaded, but still.
Yeah, I've played quite a few though.
Yeah.
You know, I do have to say.
I played the newest. I played the ones that were new, and that's why I bought them. Except for like Wolfenstein. I haven't gotten all the way through Wolfenstein yet. I haven't gotten through both of the older Tomb Raiders and The Witcher. I may never get through that because
or Fallout.
Or Fallout.
It cracks me up when
I've gotten through the Far Cry.
One of my kids came up to me and said, Mrs. Farr, do you know the Jurassic World game? And I said, I do know the Jurassic World game. Really? Do you have it? And I said, no, my son has it. Did he get the new DLC? And I said, not yet. He said, oh, you know about it? And I said, of course I know about it. My son has it. And he asked me for it. He said, but it's so expensive. And I'm like, it is? How much is it? It's almost 400 pesos. I said, do you think he should have it? And he said, oh, really? You're going to buy it for him? And I said, no, he has to earn it. What does he have to do? And I said, he has to do the laundry. He has to take out the garbage. He has to scoop the litter pan. He has to do the dishes. He has to sweep the floor. And he said, can I come to your house so you can get it for me? I'll do all those things. I said, but if you do those things, he can't get it. And he said, maybe I can come after you buy it for him and do it. I was like,
okay, then.
I said, maybe you should ask your mom and dad if you can do it at home.
I know. Do some chores, man. That's what chores are always for.
That's a good idea, Mrs. Farr. I'm like, there you go.
Chores. Well, see, that just gets back to the whole earning and not giving.
Right.
You know? Same thing with grades. You earn them. You don't get them. They're not a gift. Don't hug me. You know,
right.
No, you don't get a DLC because you think you're entitled to it. Fuck you. You ain't entitled.
Nope. Did you get your shit done this week?
I know, you ain't do your work. Speaking of cleaning and sweeping and mopping, Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
That's
Looking
he's
at
standing
you,
here.
Isla Nublar. Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You know, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, why do you think you should get anything?
Right. I said that to the one when I was talking about the grade book this week. I'm like, this kid is missing 17 assignments, and you want me to give him a grade that will boost him up, but if I leave the spaces empty, it doesn't change his grade at all, and he gets what he deserves.
Yeah, but see,
So
that's the
why
idea.
are you
the
giving...
idea of getting what someone deserves has been removed from this educational
I'm like,
system.
We're trying to, enforce to the parents that they need to start giving their children responsibility, and we're trying to make them more responsible in the classroom. But at what point do we truly make them responsible for their behavior?
Never.
Because this is craziness.
Not in elementary school. Never. And that's why they're going to reap the benefits at the end of the year that they're creating right now. Just like a child who doesn't clean and do their chores, they're going to get the benefits too, Rocket League.
They won't get their DLCs and
exactly.
their extra games for the month of December. And
I mean, it's just, I don't know. To me, it all rolls together. Responsibility in your home, then responsibility at school, the responsibility in your educational or work life. I mean, it's all you're building to you. Now you have all the responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're teaching.
Yep.
Whereas, if you're not teaching that, if that's not your thing as a culture, okay, fine. But
right.
Don't expect me to be there, because I'm going to be focused on responsibility the whole time, and I'm going to be saying, no, you earn your grades.
Well, like Friday, I've had all these stacks of papers, and I didn't know what to do with them. If they had done an assignment and I didn't have them pasted into their notebook, what do I do with these assignments that I have now? Just stacks and stacks of paper. And so I asked, what do I do? And they said, there are portfolio folders for each child, and you're supposed to put it in there. And I said, so when was somebody going to tell me this? Because some of the stuff I sent home because I didn't know what to do with it. Nobody told me I'm not allowed to send things home throughout the term. So on Friday, I had each class pass out all the papers. I gave handfuls to a group of kids, and they all passed them out. And while they were doing that, the other ones were changing out bulletin boards and hanging things up and sweeping and changing things around. And the secretary came in, and she saw 3 girls standing on the bookshelf and a boy standing on the table hanging things up. And she's like, get down, get down. And I said, no, they're working. They're doing what they've been asked to do. And she's like, what? And I said, do you want me on a table? She's like, no. I said, then you have to let them do what they've been asked to do. This is their classroom. They're responsible to make it look nice and beautiful when their parents come. Oh, that's a good idea.
I'm sorry, that shouldn't be a good idea.
And I'm like,
that should be normal.
I'm like, duh.
That's just such a bad precedent.
But none of the other teachers are doing this, where, especially in my grade, they don't make them responsible for their space. Like they have
classroom.
They have to clean up. They can't leave the classroom messy.
They pay for it.
But they don't have the options of decorating or deciding what goes where and how it should be displayed. It's their space.
I say every day to my students. Well, I've said it. I said it for Halloween, and now I'm saying it for Christmas because Thanksgiving's not a thing. So,
I have turkeys all over my room.
If you want to bring something to decorate the classroom, feel free. You can buy it. You can make it. I don't care. We will put it up if you want to bring something.
Yep.
And it's like some of them brought things for Halloween. Some of them didn't.
Right.
But guess what? It's your classroom.
Yeah.
It's not mine. I don't own it. It doesn't belong to me. I won't be there next year, so I don't really care.
Right.
Everything that you make, if you bring it, it's yours. You can have it back. I'm not going to keep it. I have no reason to keep it.
Right. I took some Halloween stuff down, and the kids were like, Mrs. Farr, can I have that? Okay. Mrs. Farr, can I take this? They had done some skeletons. and they wanted to take them home. And I said, we have to put them in your portfolio because it was part of your classwork. So then when your parents come, they can see what you did, and then they can take them home. Oh, okay. But I'm just like,
yeah, okay.
All this stuff that they do, I'm not going to keep it. I don't want it.
Yeah, but you're talking about work. I'm talking about outside of all work. You like to do art, and you like Christmas. Make a thing.
Right, like Keegan, she's
make
doing
a thing.
Some sweet stuff.
Just whatever that happens to be. If you want to buy decorations at the mall because you were there this weekend and you want to put it in your classroom, bring it in.
Yep.
But it's giving them ownership over their classroom. It seems like a ridiculously easy idea for most of us, but for a lot of cultures, it's not. It's very difficult because then the teacher doesn't have control. Because a lot of teachers, they put up they do everything in their classroom, whereas one of the first things I did when they had to do the earthquake thing, which I still have to figure out how to get down because it's stuck to the walls so hard. When you try to take it down, the paint comes with it.
What did they use to stick it up?
That double-sided tape.
Oh no.
Yeah. And some of them are stuck well. And, a lot of the other, like when I did that thing, it was, you're finished? Okay, where do you want to put it?
Right.
And then they chose where they wanted it. All I said was, put it in these areas. You can use any of these areas, but don't put them anywhere else. Because I wanted them up. I didn't want them down. I didn't want them going down the walls because I didn't want anybody messing with anybody else's work.
Right.
So if it's up, most of the students don't really put their hands up there. So that's why I did it. But yeah, they got to have ownership. They've got to know that it's theirs. It's their work being displayed in their room.
Well,
this is your reading room. This is your spelling room. After that, it should be reflective of you and your classmates.
Yep. I wanted to keep the bat.
Novel idea.
I wanted to keep the bat that was hanging behind my desk. I didn't want to take it down because it's really cute. So one of the students decided that we can make it a Christmas bat.
Christmas bat.
Even
Didn't
though
we
it was,
have a few of those when we were living in the States?
We did. Even though it was supposed to be for Halloween. So she made it a beard and a stocking. Or a beard and a hat, a Santa hat. So she could put it on the bat and hang it back up on the wall. And she's like, is this okay, Mrs. Farr? I'm like, sure, why not? It's a great compromise. Because it's their space. They have to have ownership of it.
Yep. It's theirs. And I feel sad for those teachers who they do it all.
Yeah, and that's what they do it here. They do it all. They decorate
and they have
everything.
All these tubs and totes and
no place to store them.
Yeah, but they have them. They go with them from year to year, so they're essentially just recycling everything every year, and that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
And you don't get. I mean, yes, you can always add to it, but it says nothing about the students. Mm-mm. It just says a whole lot about the teacher.
Yep.
And that's where part of their problem is they think that they own the space. That it's theirs.
Yep.
And it's not.
Like these
it's
kids
the students.
asking, may I come in? Nope. May I take a tissue? Nope.
Yeah, somebody asked me.
Can I use the hand gel?
Yeah, can I have hand sanitizers? I just looked at them like with this weird look on my face, like, who asks that?
You've got this gigantic pump bottle of hand sanitizer. You're not asking to use my personal hand sanitizer.
No.
So why do I care if you use it? Your parents already paid for it.
Yeah, it's yours.
I said that one day to the kids. I was like, please don't ask me for the Clorox wipes to clean your desk. Just use them. Please don't ask me for the hand wipes to clean your hands. Just use them. Don't ask for the tissues. Don't ask me for the hand sanitizer. Your parents paid for them just like they paid for the books. They belong to you. Use them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh. So if somebody asks now, can I take a tissue? I'll just look at them. Can he take a tissue? Yes.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like if you were at home, would you ask for a tissue?
Right.
You know. It's just a weird thing. It's that control, and it's that control that I will not try to exert.
Nah,
I mean, the
I don't have
biggest
time
thing
for
that I
that
want
crap.
from these kids at this point is to be quiet and respect each other enough to listen to each other.
Yes.
That is all. That is all I need, because if they learn that when someone's talking in their class that it might be important to them, but see, they don't value what anyone says.
Right.
I watched a teacher sit there and be talking and no one was listening to them.
Well, the psychologist comes in my room once a week per class. So I was in the class this week because I had a lot to do, and I wasn't about to leave my classroom. I was just sitting at my desk doing work. And these kids come up and do a presentation for Student of the Week every single class. And they tell all about their likes and their dislikes and blah, 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 blah. And the rest of the kids don't listen. And he allowed one girl to put her thing on the board and turn her back to the classroom and talk to the board. And she's already really soft-spoken. But he was so into his phone, he wasn't paying attention at all to what this child was doing. And the other kids are up and talking. And I'm like, how? You're not teaching them anything.
But they're also not hearing anything or learning anything.
Right.
They're not getting anything out of the activity outside of, and when so-and-so speaks, I don't listen to them. Because I watch a lot of these kids, and the boys get up and everybody kind of sometimes gets quiet, or they get a little quieter. Mm-hmm. But then when the girls speak,
they don't
no
listen
one
to
listens.
a word.
Everybody
they say.
just starts talking. It's like, wait a minute, why are you talking if they're talking? Shouldn't you be listening?
Yep.
And they just look at you with this weird look like, no. It's like,
but she's talking.
If we're having a class discussion or they have a question, you don't see it as necessary to listen to that. And that to me, that's where a lot of their problems come in, because you see it happen with the teachers in our meetings.
Yeah.
The exact same thing happens.
Yep.
And it's like, oh God, the person is in front of you talking. They're not just up there talking for no reason.
Well, it's so fascinating to me because this is our third country outside of the U.S. And this same thing has repeated over and over and over everywhere we've been.
Well, not in China.
Yeah, in China they don't.
Employees.
They're on their phone.
No. Being on your phone.
You're not
they
listening.
Are super quiet.
But they're not listening.
Yeah, but they're super quiet because they have been conditioned to not make a noise.
Well, and the parents, they take phone calls during ceremonies
but that's a different thing.
Talk with each other, and
all they're saying is none of this is important to me.
Right.
But when the employees are there and their bosses are in front of them, they don't say a word. You can hear a pin drop in those auditoriums full of people. They won't say anything, which is part of the problem. That's the problem that we were battling against, because nobody would say anything. Even if there was a question, nobody would say anything.
Yep. And that's the issue we had with the kids not talking in class.
Exactly.
And
here we have totally opposite issue. People talking too much, no one listening, no respect for anybody, and then they want to ask questions later on. And it's like, but that information has already been given out. I'm not repeating that again. I'm not saying that again. Go ask your friends who are listening. Yeah. Because they're all working, but you're standing in front of me asking me, what should you do? If you don't know, that's what you should be talking about. You should be asking them because you chose not to listen.
Right.
So go talk to the people you were talking to.
Yep.
Go get it from them.
Yep.
Because you made a choice. You deemed what we were doing as not important to you.
Yep.
Well, your grade will reflect that.
Yeah. We were working on our rules on Friday. And, I always talk about the boy who cries all the time. He said, when I called on him, what's the rule that we should, add to this thing? He said, no crying. And I looked at him and said, why no crying? And he said, because crying is bad. I said, crying isn't bad. Sometimes we have to cry. Sometimes it's important to cry. And he said, it is? I said, yes, but not every time. We have to learn to control our crying. But it's not bad. And I feel really guilty because I had the meeting with his parents about the fact that he cries every single day. And he doesn't have the emotional control that he should have by 8 years old because he just sits and broods and sobs.
Okay.
And so here he's saying, okay, we can't cry. And I'm like, no, that wasn't the message that should have been conveyed.
Yeah, well, in some places that we've seen so far, it's always yes or no.
Right. There's no gray area.
Very little gray area. Because I think we spend a lot of time analyzing the situation and talking about it and going through it with the child.
Yes.
Which is that's the difference, because a lot of people, even parents, they're not doing that. They just they want the behavior to either need to be, if it needs to be started, start it. If it doesn't, stop it.
Right.
And that's it.
Yep.
Because, they don't want to be called into some meeting or, whatever. They don't like that teacher or whatever. So that's their way of handling it quickly.
Right.
Like a quick and dirty type thing.
Well, it's funny that because I looked at him and said, after he said, really, it's okay? And I said, I almost cried yesterday. Do you remember? And he said, oh, yeah. I said, so sometimes we cry and we can't help it. But, we have to try in other situations to, keep a handle on our emotions. He's like, okay, Mrs. Farr, that's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. He's one of the smartest kids in the class, but he just lets his emotions get in the way of him doing his work.
Okay.
So that's what I tried to convey to the parents, but I think it was lost in translation.
Probably because culturally speaking, I can't see anybody saying that to a parent.
Yeah, probably not.
I can see them telling the parent, you need to make him stop crying. I can see that being said. Not there's a nuance and there's appropriateness and there's a time and a place and not any of that.
Right.
It's make them stop. He shouldn't be doing this in school anymore.
Yeah.
He's too old for this. This shouldn't be that,
In a container.
So.
Put them both together. Okay.
All right. Are we pubbing anybody today?
We're still recycling.
Rebicycling?
Rebicycling. I have to open it though because.
Oh, what are you waiting for over there?
I was grocery shopping while you were watching.
Shopping?
Grocery shopping. Yeah. Since you have, your bank account, we can actually grocery shop online and not drain.
Does it work well? Does it go right through?
I haven't even used it yet. You still have your card. But I'll own it in a minute. I mean, I'll borrow it.
You will not own it.
I'll borrow it in a moment.
You'll get your own sometime around June.
When we're finished. I hope it's not that long. Okay, let's see.
All right. Put on your voice.
Don't have a voice.
Don't be up to no good. Put on your voice.
Hold on, I have to get here. I'm sorry for the dead air, people.
I know. What's up with this? This is not cool. This is not good radio.
I'm sorry.
Are you ready yet?
I'm trying to
The people are like, what the hell is going on? Usually we get the voice, we get the blurb.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go.
Okay. Fee's Cauldron features products such as sage, henna, witchware, spiritual books, tarot cards, and readings, crystal stones, handmade, one-of-a-kind jewelry, and specialized jewelry. She also provides incense, pendulums, spirit baths, and much, much more. Fee's Cauldron offers select merchandise and advice for people who practice metaphysics, spirituality, and connective energetic phenomena. She provides tarot readings and teaches tarot reading classes. Fee is also a Tai Chi Chuan master. She teaches Tai Chi Chuan and self-defense. You can find Fundi Fee on Facebook at Hennafied, that's Fied F-Y-D, by Fundi Fee, or on Instagram at Fundi Fee, Twitter at Fundi Fee, and her website is masterfundifee.com. you can email her at fundifee7@gmail.com. That's that.
Okay, turn the voice off now. Talk like normal.
I have a package coming from her. I'm so excited.
Oh, God. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I got it.
She's in Texas now.
She's
right?
in Houston, yeah. She
See,
put up a...
So she's close, because Houston is, like, really close to us.
Yeah, it's only a 2-hour flight. She had a ISIS pendant. I got the only one she had. She put it up, and within 3 minutes it was mine. Because some of her stuff is really super, super
I don't know
cool.
about this shopping thing. This got to stop.
I'm telling you.
All right.
Follow her on Facebook, and you'll get the stuff before it hits her website.
I think Keegan's trying to dry her hands by dancing.
It's aerobic exercise.
Aerobic exercise.
Yeah.
Dancing like that Atlanta
Jane Fonda.
Hawks guy was dancing in the game.
Huh?
If there was a thing going around Facebook, and the Atlanta Hawk at the basketball game was doing all the dances.
Yes, I saw that.
All the dances. All the students are trying to do all these dances, and they incorporated them in their performance for Christmas, which is going to be
Whack.
oh my.
I can't even stand it. Like, I watched my kids on Friday, and I was like, oh my God. They're so terrible.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. It's funny how many of them can't dance.
What?
Yeah. I looked at them because they were like, oh, we're going to bring them all together, and we're going to... Okay, fine. So I'm watching them, and I go, I thought you guys were Mexican.
Right?
And it was like... The moves they were doing were generic, lean to the right, put your arm out, like up above your head.
Yeah.
And then lean to the left and put your arm out above your head. You know, it was stuff like that. It was like,
yeah, I've got some,
this wasn't, a ball change or anything. This wasn't toe pick. This wasn't any of those, difficult things. This was
now I want to see that movie.
This was flipping, like, move side to side kind of things on beat. It was what the hell?
These kids
is wrong
can't
with
even
y'all?
clap. I have like 6 of them that clap on 1 and 3.
See,
and if everybody's going to the right, they're going to the left.
That's a different problem. That's a whole...
One day, this child, he was so loud with it too, and he's clapping on 1 and 3. And I said, stop, don't clap. And he's steady clapping, and he's getting louder. And I walked over, and I just grabbed his little hands and said, wait. And then I started swaying back and forth with him to the beat. And I was like, okay, now let's clap on this. And then he starts, and then he gets off again within like 3 claps. And I'm like, how do you do that?
I don't know.
I had him snapping, trying to snap to Don't Worry, Be Happy in the very beginning before he starts singing. Oy vey. Oh, it's tragic.
Is it?
What?
Why do people have that? Why can
Have
some
what?
people do stuff on beat and other people can't?
They don't hear it the same.
I don't know what they hear.
They
They didn't have enough black church. That's the problem.
Look, what is the oral theory class where you have to listen and do the stuff? We were told by the professor in that class that some people just cannot hear it.
But there's nothing to hear.
They can't hear like the count. I don't know.
You don't have to hear a count. All you have to hear is the snare drum. The snare drum
What
is
if it
on
isn't
2 and 4.
What if there isn't a snare drum?
Well, but there's the other. There's the pulse of the music.
Some of them can't
but
hear
you
the
don't
pulse.
hear that. You feel that.
Okay, if they can't hear it, you think they could feel it?
Yeah, you feel it. It's in your chest. It's in your own heartbeat.
I know.
It's part of your being. If you don't feel that, that's just like the kids were. One of the songs at the beginning, they were clapping their hands, and they were clapping really fast. And I kept telling them, guys, you're not even listening to the song. You're not even with the song.
Right.
I had to make them sing it for them to be able to clap with
the right rhythm.
tempo of the song, because they were just clap, 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 clap. He's like, what are you doing? The tempo was like clap, 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 and you're like clap, 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 clap. And he's like Runaway Freight Train. But anyway, whatever. It's Saturday. The Modelo.
I have
It's almost
rum chata.
gone. It's time to get off here. Tomorrow we got another one for our Sunday video thingy majigger.
I think
thingy.
Keegan should join us since she's only joined us for like
Well,
one
I
or
think
two.
Keegan needs to be up and showered, and then she can join. Give her your fuzzy bunny slippers.
I have fuzzy llama socks.
You could wear those too,
You can wear your fuzzy llama socks.
with not that purple shirt.
You have a shirt that matches your fuzzy
'Cause
llama
you
socks.
know, you know. So, all right.
That's it.
I don't have anything else.
Paper. You need the paper.
I gotta do the paper.
You gotta
Can I
do the
just
paper.
flash it on the screen like I did before?
Sure, go ahead. It's your choice.
So if you want to find us on the YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, iTunes, or the Spotify, you can find us at The Traveling Farrs. If you want to find us on the Twitter or the Instagram, you can find us at Traveling Farrs. If you're going to send us an email, you can send it to travelingfars@gmail.com. And if you want to see the blog space, thetravelingfars.blueberry.net. No E's in the blueberry.
I was waiting for that part.
We call that a dramatic pause.
Oh,
A short one, anyway.
okay. If that's what you want to call it.
All right. That's it. That's all I got. I'm tired. I've been getting up at like 3 o'clock for the last couple days.
I don't know why.
So I'm tired. I'm very tired.
Why are you getting up? So,
Got my bank account, though, so that's good.
yeah. We're going to try to use it on
On the shopping.
the shopping because I need to buy groceries and it costs us so much more. Excuse me. So much more to use the PayPal because PayPal comes straight out of our U.S. accounts, and then I always get an international processing fee or 3, depending on the bank.
Well,
BOA always charges
hopefully
us
it'll
3.
be a little bit better now. Things will be a little bit better. Hopefully. We've never waited this long to get a bank account before.
Ever. In all of the countries, this is the longest.
At least. I don't know how we would put your check into the bank if we wanted to, but
We'd have to cash it and then tell them to deposit it into your account.
probably be easier just to
Cash it and
the
keep it.
cash.
Yep.
All right. Say goodbye to the people.
Bye, people.